Hello, Los Angeles Lakers fan. We're back with an exclusive video bringing you the latest updates. First of all, subscribe to the channel and like the video. It's crucial for you to stay informed with the news daily. Without further ado, let's get to the news. The rumors started the way all great basketball whispers do. Quietly at first, bouncing around group chats, late-night shows, and comment sections where fans read between every line and every silence. The idea of Kevin Durant wearing purple and gold feels almost surreal, yet strangely inevitable when you think about how the league moves, how legacies are built, and how stars eventually gravitate toward the brightest lights. Sources close to the situation, at least according to those who love to speculate, suggest that this signing is less about a simple contract and more about a statement, a final chapter being carefully written. Durant, a player who has never shied away from bold decisions, allegedly saw Los Angeles as the place where narratives change overnight. The Lakers represent history, pressure, noise, and opportunity all wrapped into one. And for a player who has lived his entire career under a microscope, that environment can feel like home rather than chaos. The idea of a 2-year commitment speaks volumes in rumor form, suggesting flexibility, urgency, and a clear focus on winning now rather than later. Fans imagine conversations behind closed doors about fit, freedom on offense, and the chance to redefine how people remember his journey. This is not about chasing comfort, but about chasing relevance at the highest possible volume, where every shot echoes far beyond the arena. What makes this speculation so intoxicating is how perfectly it aligns with the current state of the Lakers, a franchise always balancing between honoring the past and forcing the future to arrive early. Insiders love to whisper that Durant sees himself as the missing piece, not a savior, but a catalyst who turns potential into inevitability. In this imagined scenario, the front office views him as a weapon that stretches defenses, calms late-game possessions, and instantly changes how opponents prepare. There's talk of how his presence would open lanes, create mismatches, and bring a quiet confidence that only seasoned champions possess. Even in rumor form, you can almost hear the debates about whether this move is risky or brilliant, whether it mortgages tomorrow or supercharges today. Durant's personality, often misunderstood, is reinterpreted here as laser-focused, a veteran tired of noise and ready to let his game speak in the loudest market possible. The 2-year length feels symbolic, like a window clearly defined, a mission with a beginning and an end rather than an open-ended saga. Fans speculate that this is about control, about choosing when and how the story closes, rather than letting circumstances decide. The locker room dynamics also fuel endless conversation, because Durant's arrival would not happen in a vacuum. Rumors paint pictures of conversations with stars, mutual respect forged through years of battles, and an understanding that ego must bend for banners. Analysts speculate that his role would be fluid, sometimes the closer, sometimes the decoy, sometimes the calm hand guiding younger voices through turbulent moments. The Lakers, according to this imagined narrative, are not just collecting talent, but collecting experience, scars, and lessons learned the hard way. Durant brings all of that in abundance. Fans imagine practices where his work ethic sets a tone, where his shot-making turns routine drills into quiet spectacles. There is also speculation about how this move reshapes the hierarchy of the league, sending ripples through rival fan bases who suddenly recalibrate expectations. Even the skeptics admit that when Durant is healthy and engaged, few players bend a game to their will the way he does. This rumor thrives because it feels plausible, because it fits the rhythm of a league that never stands still and always rewards those willing to gamble big. The financial side, while never spelled out clearly in rumor circles, adds another layer of intrigue. The idea of a 2-year deal suggests compromise on both sides, a shared understanding that flexibility matters as much as dollars. Fans speculate that Durant values situation over security at this stage, choosing a shorter commitment to keep options open while maximizing immediate impact. The Lakers, in turn, are rumored to see this as a calculated bet, one that aligns with their tradition of chasing stars rather than slow rebuilds. This kind of agreement feels less like a transaction and more like a handshake between ambitions, where both sides know exactly what is expected. In whispered conversations, people talk about how this move signals confidence in the roster, in the coaching vision, and in the ability to manage personalities under relentless scrutiny. Durant's decision, if the rumors are true, is framed as a challenge to himself, an invitation to prove that his greatness travels well regardless of uniform or system. In Los Angeles, excuses evaporate quickly, and legends are forged just as fast. That tension is exactly what makes this story compelling. As the speculation grows louder, fans begin to imagine the on-court aesthetics, the way Durant's smooth jumper would look under the bright lights, the way defenses would scramble to account for his presence. Rumors often exaggerate, but they also reveal desires, and this one taps into a collective craving for drama, excellence, and redemption. For Durant, the narrative becomes about control, about choosing a destination that amplifies both praise and criticism, trusting that his game can handle both. The Lakers, eternally linked to superstars, become the perfect stage for this kind of gamble. In imagined interviews, Durant speaks about culture, about accountability, about unfinished business that transcends statistics. Fans dissect every past comment, every social media post, searching for clues that this move has been brewing longer than anyone realized. The beauty of a rumor like this is that it feels alive, constantly evolving as people add context, emotion, and expectation. It becomes less about whether it is true and more about what it represents for the league's imagination. By the time this speculation reaches its peak, it no longer feels like idle chatter, but like a possible turning point waiting to happen. Durant's rumored 2-year stint with the Lakers symbolizes urgency, ambition, and a refusal to fade quietly into the background. It suggests a player still hungry, still competitive, still willing to embrace pressure rather than avoid it. Fans argue about legacy, about how this chapter would be remembered regardless of outcomes, because the act of choosing this path already says something powerful. In a league defined by movement, this rumored signing stands out not because of surprise alone, but because of its poetic logic. Kevin Durant in Los Angeles feels like a story the basketball world is ready to watch unfold, whether it's triumph, controversy, or something in between. And that uncertainty, that electric not knowing, is exactly why this rumor refuses to die and continues to dominate conversations everywhere. The second wave of speculation dives even deeper, shifting from a shock of the idea to the consequences it might unleash across the league. If Kevin Durant truly commits to the Lakers for 2 years, even in rumor form, it sends a message that windows matter more than timelines. People begin to talk about how this move pressures other contenders to act faster, to make bolder decisions rather than waiting for perfect conditions that never arrive. The Lakers, long criticized for chasing stars, suddenly look like architects of controlled chaos, willing to embrace risk in exchange for relevance. Durant's rumored presence reframes expectations, not just internally but externally, forcing every opponent to prepare for a version of Los Angeles that blends experience with star power. Fans speculate about how this affects locker room leadership, how Durant's voice carries weight without needing volume. He is seen as someone who leads through performance, through consistency, through showing up when it matters most. The 2-year frame again becomes symbolic, suggesting intensity rather than patience, a sprint rather than a marathon. This kind of rumor thrives because it reflects the modern league, where flexibility is currency and loyalty often takes the shape of shared goals rather than long contracts. Discussions inevitably turn to Durant's personal motivations because his career has always invited interpretation. In this speculative narrative, Los Angeles represents closure, not escape. It is imagined as a place where he can write his own ending, free from a need to justify past decisions or respond to constant debates about validation. The Lakers offer a platform where winning is celebrated but effort is scrutinized, a place where stars are expected to deliver without excuses. Fans imagine Durant embracing that expectation, seeing it not as a burden, but as fuel. The rumor suggests a player at peace with his journey, confident enough to step into the most demanding spotlight without flinching. Analysts speculate about how this environment could sharpen his focus, strip away distractions, and leave only basketball at the center. The idea of a short commitment reinforces this image, implying clarity of purpose rather than indecision. In 2 years, so the rumor goes, everything would be on the table, success or failure, with no room to hide behind long-term promises. The basketball implications become a playground for imagination, as fans picture lineups, rotations, and late-game scenarios shaped by Durant's presence. Even without concrete details, the idea alone changes how people talk about the Lakers. Suddenly, they're not a question mark but a threat, not a project but a statement. Rumors suggest that Durant's skill set fits seamlessly into almost any system, and Los Angeles would be no exception. His ability to score from anywhere, to draw attention without demanding the ball, becomes central to these imagined strategies. Coaches are speculated to relish the chess match his versatility enables, while teammates benefit from the space he creates simply by existing on the floor. The narrative frames him as both star and solution, someone who elevates without overwhelming. This balance is what makes the rumor believable, because it aligns with how Durant has adapted throughout his career, adjusting roles without losing identity. Fans debate whether this move would redefine how superstars age, choosing impact over longevity in a league that rarely slows down. Off the court, the cultural impact of Durant in Los Angeles fuels another layer of speculation. The Lakers are not just a team, they are a brand, and Durant's presence amplifies that global reach instantly. Rumors paint a picture of renewed energy, increased attention, and a narrative that dominates conversations far beyond basketball circles. Durant, often portrayed as introspective, is imagined navigating this environment selectively, focusing on craft rather than spectacle. The 2-year term again feels intentional, a way to engage without being consumed, to contribute without being swallowed by endless expectations. Fans speculate about how this move reshapes his public image, framing him less as a wanderer and more as a closer, someone who arrives with purpose and leaves a mark. The Lakers, masters of storytelling, become the perfect backdrop for this transformation, whether intentional or not. Even critics admit that this pairing makes sense on an emotional level, blending ambition with history in a way few franchises can replicate. Before we continue, we ask that you leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Lakers updates. Moving on, as the rumor matures, it becomes a mirror reflecting what fans want from the league. Bold moves, clear intentions, and stars unafraid of pressure. Durant's rumored signing is discussed not just as a basketball decision, but as a philosophical one, prioritizing challenge over comfort. The Lakers' willingness to embrace this possibility reinforces their identity as a franchise that thrives on expectation rather than avoiding it. Analysts speculate that even if the run is brief, the impact could be lasting, influencing how future stars approach late career decisions. The 2-year window is imagined as a crucible, intense and unforgiving, where reputations are tested and refined. Durant, in this story, is not running from debate, but walking straight into it, confident that his game can withstand scrutiny. That confidence, real or imagined, is what keeps this rumor alive, growing with every retelling. In the end, this speculation endures because it feels like a crossroads moment, one that encapsulates the spirit of modern basketball. Kevin Durant joining the Lakers for 2 years, even as a rumor, represents ambition stripped of pretense, a clear declaration that the present matters. It invites fans to dream, argue, and imagine outcomes without needing confirmation. Whether this story becomes reality or remains a fascinating what-if, its power lies in how naturally it fits the league's narrative rhythm. Durant in Los Angeles feels less like a shock and more like a bold punctuation mark, a reminder that greatness often seeks the loudest stage. And as long as that idea lingers, The conversation will continue, fueled by possibility, passion, and the endless allure of purple and gold. As all these threads come together, the rumor takes on a life of its own, fueled by anticipation rather than certainty. Conversations continue to spiral across podcasts, comment sections, and late-night debates, each adding a new layer to the story. Some imagine Rue becoming a steady presence who quietly impacts winning, while others dream of him having breakout moments that shift perceptions overnight. What remains consistent is the belief that this potential move carries meaning beyond transactions. It symbolizes respect from his current coach, curiosity from a storied franchise, and belief in Rue's untapped ceiling. Until anything becomes official, the speculation remains just that, but it is the kind of speculation that feels rooted in logic, emotion, and shared understanding of the game. And sometimes, those are the rumors that end up becoming reality, leaving everyone looking back at these conversations and realizing that the signs were there all along. Stay informed exclusively about Los Angeles Lakers news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep receiving daily updates. Also, share your opinion on the news in the comments, as your contribution is crucial for the Lakers. Stay tuned for the next video.